Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy P Lot, aka the Break Slinger, and guess who is right here with me? Once again, my brother, Mr. Analytical, is here,
Yeah, I'm
man.
back.
Also, be prepared because I also got a special guest in the building. But before we get to that, Mr. Analytical, I would love for you to do the honors to give the people the reason and not only reason but also the topic that is on this day.
Okay. First of all, it's very honorable to be here. Like I said, this has been my friend for almost 10 years now. I'm glad that he allowed me to he invited me to talk on this topic with some of the knowledge that I have and some of the research I did on the situation. Today's topic is whole Reach Records and GAWVI situation. For those who don't know, it has been now confirmed that GAWVI did participate in unsolicited sexual pics to other women in the faith or outside the faith. Don't know for sure, but it's happened, and we all know that's wrong.
Right.
So, without further ado, I'm gonna let Pierre take away with first thoughts, if you don't mind.
Now there's been a confirmation of what Garvey has done. It's now put us believers in a predicament because it definitely put Reach Record in a predicament as far as letting go of Garvey with this not no longer an allegation but confirmation. Professionally, it is a good idea to separate the artist from the company due to the fact that the company has their statements, as their visual statement, their mission statement, and what their core value is, and this, that, and the third, and the artist's activities. Does if it doesn't reflect what the company stand by, then the company does have a right to let go of the artist. However, dealing with now that it's involved within Christianity, within the kingdom, it does seem fair to let him go. However, it does put a stain on not only Reach Record, but Christian hip hop. And even further, Christianity. Why is it even further than Christianity? Because Christianity still can, to this day in 2022, have to deal with other stuff that still continue to repeat itself. Whether it's pastors messing with certain folks outside of their wives, whether it's male or female, whether deacons messing with such and such, whether it's a church taking the money and not spending it on the community, whatever the case may be. It doesn't make it look good. It definitely don't make Christian hip hop look good, for the simple fact that now it seems like the moral standpoint has been blurred. The line is literally about to be erased because somebody within the faith crossed the line. And it gives people a good question to ask. Is Garvey really a Christian? And if he is a Christian, what do we do? Do we pull him to the side and show him his fault? Do we bring witnesses involved? Do we bring it to the church? Or do we cast him out? Hopefully Reach Record did do such a thing as pull him to the side and say, hey man, this ain't cool. Now, there's probably somebody in his inner circle that probably was like, Garvey, I know you're not going to do this because you're married and this, that, and the third. You don't need to be doing this. But at this point, the body knows what within Christian hip hop. The body within Christian hip hop knows what Garvey did, and Reach Record did something about it. So what is next for Garvey is to either take heed or what the word Jesus said, be treated like a heathen. Now, does that mean kick him out and exclude him and don't consider him a brother? I don't 100% know, but I will say this: he would definitely have to be treated to the point where he have to start back in square one, as far as getting his faith together, get his spirit right, and then get back to his music so that when his music come back with his music, maybe he'll come back with some conviction. You know, like same way like with the truth. When he came back with the whole truth, he came back with conviction. Same thing with the ambassador. When he came out with Stop the Funeral, he came back with conviction. So hopefully he'll come back with conviction. Otherwise, he's just another wolf in sheep clothing. But that's just me.
All right, now let me say this. The whole situation should have been done step by step and not done necessarily out in the public via YouTube. Let me explain why.
Okay.
First of all, in Matthew 18, verses 15 to 17, that should have been done first before it got on Twitter, before it got on YouTube. Okay? Verse 15 or 16 specifically said that should have been a one-on-one conversation, like I said, between him and his wife first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and they should have aired that out. Now he's denying it. What the Bible say then? Take it to your peers, your friends and family. Let them have a discussion, which they did. He kept them denying it. And now keep this in mind, even though more people know about it, it's still not mainstream, it's still not in the public. Then you take it to the church and let them discuss it. And he's still in denial about that because of pride. Then, like Pierre said, you cast him out. But here lies the problem, though. Like, my thing is, GAWVI should have had exposed himself first and foremost, because if it comes off from somebody else's lips, other than GAWVI or even the victim, people who like to spread lies. It comes off as false information. It comes off as clout chasing, and then cancel culture is going to come in. So, what I heard from a snippet from a podcast called Revenant Podcast, this man interviewed both Trip Lee and Ric Flair about the information. Now, before I get into that, my thoughts on it was it came off as them trying to save face, as opposed to calling it down the middle. They said like for the past year and a half, like they couldn't decipher his character. Like he was acting different, but GAWVI wasn't being transparent about what he was doing. And if that was the case, they should have just, like I said, did what Matthew 18 said, and just kept it private to themselves until God was ready to talk about it. But instead, you went to social media, you and Trip Lee went on this podcast and indirectly did this whole victim mentality thing.
Oh.
Hey, I'm just saying like it is.
Hey, go for it, man.
And bring about, and like I said, I don't think they did this intentionally. It's just that it came off like you were celebrating this whole Me Too movement thing, believe all women. But it just came off as you was just bashing this man indirectly or subconsciously.
Oh, well, figuratively put him under the bus.
Yeah, like, and I hate to say this, but it always, the way he was talking about him, always seems like this man was a rapist.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like, dude,
rapist so then we're gonna stick to we're gonna unfortunately we're gonna have to follow the rules of YouTube now, thanks to the Me Too movements and the cancel culture.
Because one of the victims actually spoke out in a tweet, and she didn't appreciate what GAWVI did, which no woman would anyway. But again, you should have kept that to yourself, or at least talk to that man and see like, hey, don't send me stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? We supposed to be brothers and sisters in the faith. You don't do that stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then she felt the need to express herself and expose this man even more. Which again, let GAWVI speak for himself. Because Just like when you want to be celebrated, but what God said in the Bible, don't toot your own horn. Let
Another man praise you. Yeah.
And the same thing is applied with this. There's no need to expose this man because what it says in Romans 12, revisions his minds, thus say the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then if you go back to Matthew 18, I think it's verses 6, when he's talking about the children, about how when one of the disciples asked Jesus, what it does to take, who was the greatest in all of heaven, he said, when you think like a child and act like a child, and of course I'm paraphrasing.
Mm-hmm.
And then further in verse 6, he said, don't make life harder than what it is for this person. But what we do on Twitter and cancel culture, we made it hard for GAWVI, and we broke God's moral laws. That's number one. And number two, now cancel culture is involved, and then you want to cascade this guy out without even talking to this man. First of all, nobody on Black Twitter knows his heart, why he did it, or what he's going through.
Mm-hmm.
I understand you gotta hold the man accountable, but going back to like Matthew 18:6, don't make it harder than what it is. Let that man go through what he's going through, and when he's ready, he will announce his repentance and how God delivered him from that. So, and that's what I want to say so far.
Man, I can't really push back on that. Can't disagree on that, because overall, it definitely puts both parties in a difficult predicament. Put GAWVI in a predicament where now he has no choice but to fall back and think about what he needs to do. But at the same time, it gives Reach Record it kind of exposes Reach Record's attempt to trying to basically PR the situation.
Exactly what I said.
And exactly. So, but it definitely puts them in a predicament where now they have to stand by what they always but used to preach about. Because when it's all said and done, we want the world to understand within Christianity, women are important.
Right.
Just as much as children are important. Men will always be the thing, but women are important. Children are important. Jesus basically took away all those lines of gender stereotype, so that all of that can be acknowledged to the fact that God sees everybody the same. So now, Reach Records have something to do. GAWVI have something to do.